Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be teaching how to make this amazing Asian style chili shrimp lumeen. Oh my god, this pasta dish was everything and more. The saucy goodness, the veggies, the shrimp. I also added some sausages just for texture, and everything turned out amazing, guys. So I'm going to be putting the ingredients down in the description as always. So first, you're going to want to make sure that you have your water for your pasta boiling on the side. You do not want soggy pasta, so you need to start boiling your pasta when you're sure that your sauce that you're tossing it in on every prep is already made, so that you don't have to boil down the pasta and then leave it and cover it to get sticky. You don't want that. So you want your pasta to be fresh. You see that at the behind where I'm cooking this, you can see the water is like going and then the pasta is boiling, because I know that by the time the pasta is ready, I'm going to be ready to cook. So I put in some canola oil into my pan, and then I'm going to be adding in my sausages that I diced. Now I diced it this way just because it's going to look better in appearance, and people eat with their eyes as well as their mouth. So even if this meal is for you, it's always never going to hurt if your meal looks 10 times better than it tastes. Okay, now don't get me wrong, it has to taste good, but it also has to look good as well. So once your sausages are fried, you take them out. Now, as the name implies, you had shrimp, chili shrimp lumeen. So obviously, we're going to be using some shrimp. So this shrimp is the ones that are in the pack. They've already been deveined and pre-cooked a bit. So I usually just put it in just a bit to fry for about a minute, and then I take it out. You don't want that to fry for too long, okay? Then I add in a bit of salt. I add in a bit of black pepper as well. So once you're done with that, you take your shrimp piece out. Your shrimp, you take it out. Then we're going to start with sauteing our veggies. Now you want your pan to be on high heat because you don't want your veggies to get soggy. You see how hot this pan was? When you put in your oil, you crank up the heat by a lot. Like you crank it up by a lot. You want it to be very hot before you add in your veggies, so that the veggies don't have the opportunity to get soggy and soft on you. Okay, I add in my carrots first, because obviously carrots is the toughest one. I add in my bell peppers I sliced, and then that's green. I added some orange bell peppers, I added some green bell peppers, and then I also added in some yellow bell peppers. I almost forgot my yellow bell peppers. Can you imagine? After suffering to cut it. Anyway, so I add that in and I give it a toss. I'm also going to be seasoning it. I added in some salt, some black pepper, and yeah, so just I season it with some salt and black pepper. Now, because I'm going to be using my soy sauce and some garlic and the rest, I am trying to keep this pasta as simple as possible. That's the seasonings for the prawns, and then the shrimp, and then the veggies. Now, you do not want to overcomplicate it. People tend to overcomplicate things a lot in the kitchen, things that are not even meant to be complicated. So you see how my veggies are still looking fresh. At this point, they are ready, and I take them out. Now, all this while I've been frying all these things, I've been using canola oil. Now that I'm ready to make my pasta, I'm going to be using sesame oil. So this is sesame oil that I'm adding into my pan. At this point, my pasta is already done. You've seen that I've taken it off the heat behind, because I'm going to be putting it in very, very soon. In less than 3 minutes, it's going to go in the pan. Okay, so I'm adding in my onions. After I added in my onions, I'm using some white onions. I think people call it yellow onions, but well, basically white onions for this. And then once that is in, I told you I was going to add in my pasta in less than 3 minutes. I think it was less than that. So you see, my pasta is still fresh from fire, and then I add it in. Now, why I'm very particular about you doing this is because it's going to help the sauces stick to the pasta better. Your pasta is not going to be overcooked. It's not going to be soggy because it didn't stay and get trapped in heat. Okay, then I'm adding in some dark soy sauce. The dark soy sauce I use is the one that has that red coloring effect. That's the type, the exact brand. So I'm showing you guys everything, so that even if you can't get this exact brand, you would see when you go to the Asian store, just ask them, it's not the regular dark soy sauce, you want the one. So it's not just the regular one. But if you cannot find that one, then by all means use the regular one, but you won't have the same effects that I did. Now, I added in some light soy sauce, I added in some sweet soy sauce as well. So we have the dark, we have the light, and we have the sweet. Now, you do not want to go too much because you already know that soy sauce has a high sodium content. Okay, so you need to be very careful when you're adding your soy sauce. If it's not a brand you've used before, please put in gradually. Me, I have used this brand, so I already know what's going to be enough for me. Now I'm adding in some Kinder's Prime Steak seasoning because I love, like, this seasoning is so good. So I usually add it in when I'm making like a lot of my meals. So I add in just a bit of that. I add in some Japanese style barbecue seasoning as well. And then these seasonings I'm using also don't have too much sodium content. You know, there's some seasonings that you use that when you put it in, if you do not put too much salt, and then suddenly your food is salty. So this is not that. This is like, it has a perfect balance. So that is why. And then you also see me, I didn't add a lot. I didn't overdo it. Okay, you don't want to overdo it. Then I add in some extra black pepper. Once I do this, I'm going to be turning in my sausages, my veggies, my shrimp that I fried up. And then once I do this, I give so now once I do this, I'm going to like mix it all up together. I'm just going to let everything marry together. Let them be in love. Let them make a baby. That's what I'm going to do to this pasta. Very simple. You see how simple this recipe is? I'm sure when you were watching the snippets, it looked so complicated. It is not complicated. It's very simple. You can make this even by yourself, okay? Now, once I do this, I'm going to mix it all up together. You've seen this beautiful color that the dark soy sauce that I used gave my pasta, okay? It's very beautiful. Now, I think I got mine here in Abuja, Nigeria, from Charm Supermarket. So you could also check there if they still have it. Now, once I do this, I'm going to leave the pot. Once I mix it, I just get everything to mix together. I'm going to leave it, and then I'm going to crank up the heat. I need this thing to char a bit, so I'm going to crank up the heat, and then I'm not going to mix it again. And that's when you see that beautiful smoke, and it's going to add that smoky flavor to your pasta. Not really like jollof rice smoky flavor, like, you know, with the barbecue spice and the black pepper and everything that you've added. It's just going to help your pasta have this slight smokiness to it. I don't know how to explain it, but that's the best way I can. So now once I've done that, I'm going to mix this. I don't know if you can see what we have here. This is exactly what you want, okay? You don't want it to toast so much that it starts to char, because then we're going to be making a chow mein, because chow mein is more, I think it's more dry. It's more on the drier side, but we're making lo mein, so that is usually more saucy. So that is what you want. You just need just that small aroma and this thing of the smokiness, not too much, okay? So once you're done, just like that, your pasta is ready, and I'm going to plate it up. And I topped it with some sesame seeds just for like some extra crunch. Then I just showing you how good it looks, even till the point where my pasta is ready. You still see that my carrot still has a bit of crunch to it. That's why it's important to make sure your pan is hot before you toss in your veggies, okay? Now, this is what we have, and trust me, it was so good.